Hi everyone. Let's see if we can get David now. Oh, hello Charlotte. How are you? Thank you for joining and watching. Hello. Hello. Reva Fanatic. Hello. Right. Oh, Walsh Brothers, Jewelers. Hello there. How are you? Let me see if we can find the lovely David. Yes, we can. David, are you there? I've just invited you. You need to accept me. Yes.
Hello.
David! Hello.
I better put my glasses on so I can see. There you go. I can see you.
Hello,
Victoria.
We're twins. Oh, David, thank you so much for coming on my Friarhouse Friday. I cannot believe it. I've got a real antique celebrity joining me.
Oh, really? What time are they arriving then?
Oh, David, I can't tell. Do you know, one of the things that I love about you is your taste in fashion.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well,
I'm pleased to hear it.
You're such a snappy dresser.
Well, I do like, Victoria, very bright colours, and I always have done ever since well before TV. I was always known for my banana coloured trousers.
Yeah. That's what I like. You always wear yellow trousers, like with a blue jacket or something. But you can see, like, I love colour too. So,
I like it. I love the look. You look fabulous. You really do.
Thank you, David. You're so lovely. I've got a whole list here, but I think you're just, because you're not just an antiques TV presenter. You do public speaking, don't you? Dinner guests.
I do. I do quite a lot of that, and I've got to say I love it because, of course, it's live, isn't it? You don't know what's going to happen.
No.
I never have a script. I just work with whatever's going on in the room. So I like to meet people and stuff. I did one yesterday in Middlewich, and I just got chatting to the people beforehand. I had no idea what I was going to talk about, but they mentioned that they hadn't been getting the post recently in Middlewich, so I started talking about how the British invented the postal system in 1840. Then they were talking about smile. So I taught them the Hollywood smile. Taught to me by John Barrowman.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, one of the things I know I could talk to you all day, and I know, like, we don't want to bore everyone with going on for too long, but we often obviously all see you on Flog It and Antiques Road Trip. Yeah. And Bargain Hunt. I mean, you've been involved with all of them, and I actually think, because I told my parents this morning, I said, "Oh, I'm chatting. I don't know if you've heard of a chap called David Harper," to my dad, and my dad said, "Oh my God, David Harper! Really? Are you really?" He said, "I love him."
Oh,
so
bless it.
Do you get recognised much, David?
Well, I mean, yes, because you wouldn't you? Because I've been doing it for almost 20 years. So
have you?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, all of the time, every day, whenever I go out. But what's nice is that the recognition is very positive. Yeah. People are like kind of pleased to see somebody off an antique show. You know, you're not. I've worked with actors on EastEnders and things. So you're doing celebrity road trips, and they might play a really horrible character. So people come up to them in the supermarket and go, "The way you're behaving is disgraceful." And they actually believe the character. So luckily for us, we're just doing the job we do with just us. Yeah. And so I don't think we're offending very many people. So the response is always very nice and positive. So yeah, I enjoy it.
So I bet you get loads of people, you know, like when you're in the street, do people say, "Oh, I've got my aunt, you know, Ethel's jewellery. Could you come and value it?" Do you get a lot of that?
All the time. And you'd be surprised how many people have images on their phone already. It's like, hang on, were we supposed to meet? It's like you literally go, you're David Harper. I am. I've got something that you're going to like. And they get the phone out and they've got images of stuff. It's remarkable. It's very fun.
And how do you play that when, because you're like giving a valuation on the spot? I mean, do you ever think, "Oh God, I actually don't know what that is"? Or do you, how do you?
Victoria, all the time. How can anybody know anything in this business we call antiques and art, in truth, I know probably 1% of what there is to know. You'd need 1,000 lifetimes. So listen, I've been doing it forever. What I don't know, I make it up.
That's often, isn't it, what public speakers say, and things, you know, you just almost get yourself through it somehow, even if you don't know what you're talking about. Well, but
it's a bit of a thrill. I actually like that, because when I do like public, like I've got 2 shows this week coming, one in Essex and one in North Yorkshire.
I'll ask you about that.
So they're based on my history book. So it's like a stand-up history show. But again, it's completely unprepared. I've got stories in my head that I can tell, but I throw it out to the audience and I say, what questions have you got? Anything. What do you want to know about your ancestors? How did they go to the toilet? What did they do for jobs? Were they getting married? How long did they live? And they ask questions. And I love it because, of course, very often they'll ask a question that I haven't got a clue what the answer is. So it's a bit of a thrill. It's kind of like you work on your feet and you manipulate the conversation onto a topic that you do know about. So I love that the idea of kind of being scripted and reading a script like a sermon fills me with horror. So it's like
well, I've got here all these like questions, but I just thought, and this is how my lives have gone, David, with other people, is I find it just flows, and you interact with the person and chat to them, and it just is automatic, and almost the questions are neither here nor there. But I found I've wanted to write down, because there's lots of things that I want to ask you, ideally about your stand-up show, because I think because it sounds like people say, because I looked up on your website about you, and you've got at the bottom of your website people saying how funny you are. Because I see that with you on the TV as well. You're quite quick-witted, aren't you?
Well, I enjoy it. I enjoy meeting people who can come back with quick retorts. I don't like comedians that are all scripted. I find it really irritating. So when I see someone live, I like to see them react. And for me, I find that easier to react than to try and do a boom, boom, there's the gag. You know, it's far better just to have a conversation. And in all honesty, it's easier, Victoria, because when you're engaging with an audience, whenever they're talking or asking questions, it gives your brain a few luxurious moments to kind of recalibrate and to wonder where you can then take the conversation. So I get a great thrill out of it. And all I do is tell original funny stories, so real things that happened in the past that our history teachers didn't tell us. So, you know, it's not rocket science.
No, I love yours. And I love, because your Instagram popped up, and, you know, last week I shared, because I just thought it was brilliant. You know, those ladies with the vinaigrette?
Yes.
The story where they were so up for your video, weren't they? They were just fabulous.
Do you know what? It's absolutely remarkable. So I don't do much on Instagram. I must do more, but I do quite a lot on Facebook and YouTube. And the last couple of years I've been working on YouTube, and it has yet to make me any money, right? So this is it's a passion project. I love it. And I enjoy it more than TV work, because I can go out and film. I was today filming the largest collection of turkey memorabilia in the United Kingdom.
Oh my God.
You couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up. Those things will never appear on Antiques Road Trip and Bargain. So when I go to an antique centre, and I work for antique centres, you know, they get me to come along, and I wander around and I just interview people. And it's remarkable how people just open up.
They loved you, those ladies, didn't they?
Yeah, it's like I saw them and went, hello. And they went, hello. They could see me videoing them.
Yeah.
They didn't care. It was brilliant. And I love that. So it's no like, okay, ladies, you stand there. I'm going to come over and action. It's none of that. It's you capture it as it happens. So it's a real new genre in the world of antiques. So I'm trying to break free.
Well, I think
free on YouTube.
You're brilliant, David. And that video with those ladies, they were so up for it. And I think, you know, I've built this platform, and obviously my business is antique jewellery, and I run this shop, and I've been running it for 20 years, and I've been online for since 2007, so a long time before Instagram and everything else. And I've always watched the antiques programs and often shout at the TV when I disagree with someone on a bit of jewellery. But
which is probably often.
I never disagree with you, David.
Do you know what? Because jewellery is one of the few things I kind of avoid.
Do you?
I do watches. I love watches. I've always dealt in vintage watches, but jewellery and me really, really don't get along. So if I've got a contributor and they're heading towards jewellery, I just grab them, point them in another direction and go. That's what I do. I'll leave the jewellery to you.
You can't know everything about everything. Well, not that I know everything about jewellery. I certainly know like this amount, you know, that you learn all the time, don't we? We learn all the time, as we do in life anyway. And anyone that sort of portrays themselves as an expert, you know, I would feel very embarrassed about using that term, you know. I
agree.
I've got a bit of knowledge and I'm happy to share it, and I want to learn from other people. I.e., chatting to you today is you know, intriguing to see, you know, what you're about, because I know obviously see you valuing and doing the antiques road trip, but what is your actual background, David? How did you start? How did you get involved even in antiques?
Well, I think it goes back to probably like most of us in the business, to, you know, the year dot, as early as I can remember.
Yeah,
I've always lived in a house full of antiques. My mum and dad, who are still here, thank God, but they always have antiques, always did, and they would develop property and furnish it with antiques and sell it, and sell the antiques as well. And so I sort of learned from a very early age that there was a margin to be made in antiques. And I've got to say, first of all, it's not about the money for me. I need money. I like making money. But more importantly, I love history and objects. And at the age of 5, I discovered that I could actually transport myself back in time by handling objects from the past. And I still get that sense today after all these years. I can hold something and I can sense the people. I can look at something and know that this object hasn't changed in 200 years. It's a direct connection to real people long gone. And I find that fascinating. So it's the historical stories attached to the objects. To me, it's like the perfect storm. So from a very early age, as long as I can remember, and then from about the age of 18, I was buying and selling antique furniture. Classic cars is another thing I love.
Yeah, I see that you talk a lot of, because my father's very interested in antique, you know, classic cars. He had a Model A Ford, you know, the one with the seat that pulls out the back. I forget what they call that now, but and he used to take it to car shows, and he was so proud of it. But I see that you love antique, you know, the classic cars. So because they always use a classic car in antique road trip, don't they?
Do, and I'm one of the few people on there that absolutely loves driving the classic cars. So I will always volunteer to drive the cars, and because, you know, as you may know, anyone watching this now who has any experience with classic cars, they drive like absolute monsters compared to modern cars. So it's almost like it's an odd human condition. Why on earth do we want to drive an old classic car that drives like a monster, very likely will break down, has no heating when we can get into a modern car? What is it about the human psyche that makes us love those cars? I don't know, but I do. And many millions of people love them because they are, I suppose, pieces of art.
They're antiques. They're antiques, aren't they?
It's an antique you can drive.
But do you, because that was another one of my long list of questions. Have you ever had, you know, that you can share any funny stories, you know, even involving some of the celebrities, or that you've had on the TV with live filming? Because things don't always go according to plan, do they?
Oh, well, I've had loads of experiences. And the funniest, well, not the funniest, probably the most bizarre was with John Barrowman when we were filming in Wales. I love John Barrowman. I love him. Well, you know what? The thing about John Barrowman, and I've got to say, almost all of the celebrities I've worked with, and over very many years, I've worked with dozens, almost all are exactly what you see on TV or the big screen. And John is he's wild, absolutely wild. And we were in a classic car in a Cobra, and when I met John, it's very funny filming the Antiques Road Trip with the celebrities, because you meet them and very quickly you're in a car. You're driving down the road with 2 cameras in the car, a camera van in front of you, and you're talking just like we are, and it's all getting recorded. And so you're getting to know them on fast forward. But funnily enough, John Barrowman had just won an award the day before. And bear in mind, he's won loads of awards because he sings, he dances, he acts. He's supremely talented. It's
he is, yeah.
He's
and he seems a nice guy, like you say.
He's great fun. You just want to be with him, right? He's a lovely guy. But he just won an award, Victoria. He just won Rear of the Year, right? The best bottom in the United Kingdom. He'd won it. And he was very proud of this award, and he wouldn't stop talking about it, which in the beginning was funny, but he wouldn't stop talking about it. Every antique shop went in, I've just won Rear of the Year. Woo, 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 dude. And at the end of the first day, the director was saying, John, I mean, congratulations, but can we talk about antiques, not rears, not your rear all of the time? Anyway, kept on going on. And then on the last day, it was a summer's morning, 7 a.m. in Wales, Swansea. Yeah. And we'd started filming at an antique centre outside. They were going to open early for us. And it had all this plate glass. It was a shopping centre type thing. John Barrowman was lively, and he was singing and dancing and wiggling himself around like this and shouting, Rear of the Year, looking at himself in the reflection of the glass.
God, I think that's so funny.
We also had Mylene Class there.
Oh, yeah.
Who is absolutely drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah,
The 2 of them, gorgeous. 2 classic cars and film crews, 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning. Well, what we didn't know was there was a guy on a CCTV camera, security man, watching. And he saw this fella dancing around, looking at his bottom in the reflection, shouting Rear of the Year, and all these classic cars and cameras. He rang the police because he thought we were about to film a porn movie. And the police turned up.
Oh my God.
The police turned up to arrest us, spotted John Barrowman and Mylene Class, and went, oh my God, they almost fainted.
Oh
you couldn't
God.
look it up. So some guy was going, there's something dodgy going on here. There is something dodgy going on around the place. Brilliant.
So you all must have been in stitches.
Oh, it was hilarious. And then within moments, the police were all doing selfies with the police, who were very
probably
charming.
Asking all for your... Because do you get asked for your autograph much, David?
Well, I mean, yes. I'm embarrassed to say so, but yes, all of the time. Yeah.
But how do you react to that? Because I think I've come across a few famous people that, you know, really famous people, just been in a circumstance, and I thought, oh, there's so and so, and there's one particular person I met who I thought, oh, shall I ask for that? I'm not going to say who it is because they weren't very nice at first.
Right.
And I was at a sports event with my son, an athletic sports event. It was quite a well-known sports person, and he was sort of more or less sitting next to me, and I just said, oh, hi, I'm big fan of yours, which I was when they were like at their supreme sort of famous, and I asked for them, just said, oh, could you sign my, you know, program? And it went, no, I'm not that person, and like more or less bugger off. And honestly, David, I felt so mortified and embarrassed. I was going to say, I felt so silly, and I sat down and I wanted to hide. And anyway, about an hour or so went past, and they came over and gave me a hug and said sorry, and we took a selfie, and they said they were sorry, and it sort of it redeemed, but it made me feel like, oh, you know, I don't think I'd ever ask anybody again. And I sort of thought, what would I do? And I thought it was a bit mean, actually, but it must be hell for like mega famous people if they're constantly hounded.
Oh, completely. And that's why I go back to, for me, it's a nice, gentle, well-known state. You know, you go out, cafe, and people will nod or say, they'll often say, you won't find any antiques here. That's like an icebreaker. And they'll ask for a selfie or an autograph or whatever, or they'll just have a chat. And it's gentle. It would be horrendous if you went somewhere and you were mobbed. If you were some Hollywood movie star earning millions, you could keep the millions because that would be absolutely horrible. So I think what we have after so many years on TV is just really nice. I've never, ever in all the years had a horrible experience with anybody coming up to me.
They've never have to go in disguise.
No, And it's funny because my wife said to me, I grew a very big bushy beard once, and we went up to Durham, and we're in a cafe, and I was looking around, and nobody recognised me, and because she said to me, "You don't like this, do you? Not being recognised." I said, "You know what? I don't." So I trimmed it. I trimmed it all down that evening.
Yeah.
So it's funny. Yeah, it is nice. It is nice. There is no doubt about it. It's warming. It's not. It's just nice. Yes. So I can't deny it.
Well, I find, I mean, even from my Instagram, and I'm talking about in the antiques fraternity and jewelry, when I'm, you know, at antiques fairs and things like that, lots of people come up to me, even just from my Instagram, and say, "Oh, hi, Victoria, you're just like you are on Instagram." Yes, I am. And we often get in conversations. And what I'd say about even some of my Instagram followers, and I mean, obviously it's different for you, your TV personality, but the people that I chat to, I feel like I have something in common. And I feel like maybe we'd even be friends if we knew, because I think the people that follow my account are very similar to me, and maybe they like what they see, so they follow me. But that's why I was drawn to you, to your account, because I love your humor. David, can I ask you, so your because you're doing this stand-up tour, aren't you? And what is it, a bash with the British Empire, and you've written a book, haven't you?
Yes, I have. So I've written 2 books. The first one was a romp with the Georgians. So that was just like funny historical stories from 1714 to 1830, which makes it all sound very stuffy, but it isn't. It's just like humorous, real things that went on that we weren't taught.
Have you got one with you there? Can you hold it up?
There's the romp.
Can everyone see that? Go and buy David's book.
It's on Amazon. And a couple of good reviews there from Graham Garden and Giles Brandreth. There you go.
Yeah.
So that's that.
I love that shot of you.
So that is full of illustrations. It's easy reading. It jumps from topic to topic. It's just full of little snippets of information. Doesn't get deep into anything in particular. It's just a good, fun read. And so I wrote that for the show, which I did a tour. And then I followed it on with this one, which is a bash with the British Empire. And it kind of picks up from the Georgians. Georgians are in here, but it takes us right into the 19th century, early part of the 20th, so the height of the empire. And we talk about the invention of snooker and building bridges and all sorts of
interesting,
fantastic
stuff.
Yeah, missionaries, spreading of the language, all of this stuff, good, positive things, light-hearted and funny. And it's just real people are funny, and it's me just regaling those stories of real people.
Well, I think, I mean, that's a book everyone's got to read, because I think in light of the pandemic and everything that's been going on, you know, in the last few years, we all need a bit of refreshment from it all, and I think not to take yourself too seriously, don't you? And have a bit of a laugh.
Oh my,
don't you?
My goodness. Yeah, absolutely. The moment you start taking yourself seriously, you can get yourself into all sorts of bother. It's far better to ridicule yourself before anybody else does it. Yeah. So I get in there first.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, I'm definitely going to get a couple of your books. I was going to ask you, the bash of the British Empire, I was looking through on your website. Did you do the illustrations, David, or was that someone else?
I did most of the illustrations by an illustrator. In the bash of the British, I did the cars. So I paint as well, and I sell my paintings, and I paint classic cars in my own style, which is a bit odd, right? But still. And so the car illustrations are mine. The rest are an incredibly good local artist who I really want to support, actually, William Crawford, because he's a lovely... William Crawford.
Is he on Instagram?
I think he's on Facebook. And he is I'm sure you know, the world of art and artists, a lot of talent out there, but very hard to get work. So William, he works in cafes, and he has lots of different jobs as well as being...
He's jobbing all sorts of jobs to keep going, isn't he? Yeah.
I really think he will break through. So I like to support him, and he supported me by doing it very inexpensively. So it's fair, you know, it's a fair deal.
Well, I think it's a bit like you coming on, you know, and doing this chat with me. I mean, obviously you charge an amount to do your talks. So, you know, for you to come on and chat, but I think, you know, people that are watching the live now, I think, you know, I was really interested to chat to you and find out what you're about and your experiences. And I think that's the good thing that the Instagram platform does. You know, you can share positivity, David, and I'm all up for sharing positivity.
I'm with you on that one, Victoria. You know what, I actually don't really watch the news anymore because the news is just so full of negativity. And no, and I work in the media, and and I know, I think by working in the media, I know that an awful lot of the media, their role in life, they see, is to depress the living daylights out of us. Just
completely agree.
They give us the worst possible scenario on everything, and I just reject it. Life is not that life.
Do you know, David, I sorry everyone if you're watching this and you're hearing me and David have a bit of a rant about the news, but the media, I mean, when can they ever tell something positive or some good news? I think they literally put the 10 o'clock news on, everything is all about the war and very negative, and politics, and you know, it's constantly negative. And they may have one tiny snippet of good news they snick in right at the end. And I think there has to be a point where we all turn around and say, you know, what's happening here, because it's just really damning. And that's one thing my account is, and I think you do too, is we're trying to spread positivity. And you know, I think you reap what you sow. If you put out positive vibes, you know,
I agree.
people are drawn to that, and the news is so negative.
It really is.
I'm also
Go on,
David. You speak first.
Finally, on the news, I think if there ever is going to be a spin on a news story, they always make it negative, and they always make it so it makes your life feel just a bit worse than it was a moment ago. And I don't know where this has come from, but anyway, yeah, we're rejecting it. I know lots of people who do, and many people in the media who are much higher up and in news and everything else in the media who reject it, but they can't say too much, but they do. No. There is a movement away from stop listening to this unpoliticized garbage that they feed us. Anyway, we could run.
But that's good that we've said that, because I think a lot of our people that are following the live will agree. The other thing, again, going back to your tour, the Bash with the British Empire, because you're doing a stand-up tour. Are you touring around the country? Because you're from Yorkshire, aren't you? Are you Yorkshire-based?
I am. Yeah. So I North Yorkshire, Durham. I live on the Durham side now. So yeah, that part of. But it's not really a tour because I'm doing so many different things with filming.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah, and so I've got a couple of theatre dates, Essex and North Yorkshire next week, but they're sporadic. And so, but I do an awful lot of private things. So I was over in Crewe yesterday, opening a retirement home. This is
so busy.
This is the state of my life. They're now asking me to open retirement homes, Victoria. McCarthy, listen, I'll take the money.
They probably love you though, don't they? They absolutely love you.
Honestly, it was brilliant. I went along McCarthy Stone in Middlewich, and I do a lot of work for them. So I cut the ribbon and I give a talk, and the people that are there are always great. And I always find that the older people get, the more confident they become, and the questions they ask, they don't care, and I love it. It's just, we always have a laugh until we cry. And so I've got lots of them. I've got an after dinner speech to do on Sunday. So I do lots of private stuff. So I can't really fit in too many theatre shows as a tour. I just do them as and when they crop up. But I really do. You
go with the flow. Because I see it's on April the 1st. So it's April Fool's Day. So it is actually happening.
That's in Helmsley. I'm doing a bash with the British Empire in Helmsley, and then this Thursday in Essex, Colchester, I'm doing a romp.
Oh,
so I have to remember.
Well, they both sound brilliant. Oh my God, Dave. I mean, I'm sure you're probably busy and need to go soon. But the last thing I wanted to, because you mentioned you're an artist, aren't you? That's your.
Yeah.
Have you got any of your art that you can show?
Let's have a look. I shall move the camera. Where are we? Let me move the camera. So here, there's one. It's a print. It's bit of a reflection. So it's kind of it's very modern.
Yeah.
And well, modernist.
I saw that you're a modernist. Yeah.
So I don't know whether you got a reflection there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh,
so what
show
is
you a big one? Well, I thought that didn't come out very well. Hang on.
No, show me a big one.
Oh, well, you're going to be impressed with this one, I tell you. There you go.
Oh my
There's
God.
a big one, Victoria. Have you ever seen one
I
on
love
that
the
side?
colours. So what's the inspiration of that before we tell me about that painting?
Well, is
it your head?
It's my head. There are three faces there. There's an awful lot of stuff going on. There are three hearts. You've got a zebra here. It's difficult to explain. It'd probably take me 20 minutes to explain because you kind of paint your soul, really. So, but that's painting is what I do for meditation.
Yeah, my
only
friend's an artist. She says the same.
Yeah, it's the only time my brain stops, unless I'm asleep or madly drunk. And it's the only time my brain switches off.
It's your sort of quiet place where you can sort of release. Yeah.
But you come up with great ideas. Your subconscious works. And suddenly I'll solve a problem or come up with a great idea just from nowhere. Bang.
Isn't that funny? We must have a subconscious inspiration zone in our mind.
I absolutely believe in that. I absolutely do. I love taking a nap. Right, my parents have always napped, and I love taking a nap. And it's that time. And it's just as you're going off into noddy land, you come up with something, and it's to solve problems or just be creative. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, there's a lot going on in your head, much more than you ever imagined.
Yeah, I completely agree. We're both on the same. I thought we would be. I thought when you said you were going to chat with me, I thought, I think I'm really going to get on with David and find a connection. David, what I laughed about on the website, I must mention this, is because my husband cooks in my house. I don't cook. I hate cooking. You know, baking, anything like that. I would not, if I did Bake Off, I definitely would be the #1 loser because I'm just absolutely crap. Everything, nothing rises. I just get it all wrong and I'm just disastrous, or burn it, you know, overdo it. I see you've got, it said that you're similar to me. You don't cook. And it said you were you'll always be remembered for the worst contestant in Celebrity MasterChef.
Yes. I won an award, the first award I've ever won for being the worst contestant ever in the history of the programme across all territories around the world, Victoria. That's me.
What did you cook? What did you?
Well, listen, the thing is that this is true, right? Because when you get calls, you actually get calls, do you want to, come do a celebrity show? I just yes to everything.
Come on, Victoria. His Instagram.
If you say yes, stuff happens. I always believe this. And that's how I go into TV.
So do I.
Radio rang me to be on. My instinct was no, but I said yes, and here we are today. 20 years later, I'm on telly. So I just said yes, and they said, "Do you watch the program?" I said no, and they didn't believe me. I said, "Genuinely, I don't watch the program." So she sent me a DVD. And then I didn't watch it. And then she sent me a link. I didn't watch that. And the producers genuinely thought that I was pulling their leg and I'd never watched, and I had watched the program. I had never watched the program. I've never watched a cooking show in my life. I just say yes to any work. That's what I do. Yeah. And because I didn't know what the format was, I got the shock of my life. It was everything went wrong from top to bottom, and I couldn't get out of there quick enough. I was the first celebrity ever to positively celebrate being kicked off as a complete loser. I was just like, yes, get me on that train, get me home. It was horrible. And they didn't want to present
that would scare the living daylights out of me because I hate cooking and I'd feel so under pressure. I can't tell you. So I'm with you again on that on every level. I cannot think of anything worse, but and I'd just be completely humiliated because I just think, oh my God, I hate cooking so much. But and the other thing that I saw on your website is you've got the world record for selling Alex Ferguson, 170,000.
Yeah.
So what was that, dinner with him or something? And what was the charity? What was that about?
So that was a charity do in London, right? So again, spin-offs from TV.
Yeah.
So I was asked to go down to London and sell at the Natural History Museum underneath the big dinosaur at a big dinner.
What a setting.
It was fantastic. 300 city bankers, so dripping money,
Yeah.
dripping. We had Nick Robinson, the BBC political journalist, was and he announced me on the stage. I had to sell 3 things. First thing being Nick Robinson. So it was dinner with Nick Robinson. So I thought, I'm really going to cream this. So I had 3 objects. So I got Nick back on the stage, took his jacket off, spun him around, said, come on, ladies, how much are you going to pay for Nick Robinson? And I sold him for 17,000 quid. The audience was like, what? 17,000? And then the next one was Boris Becker, tennis player. Now a big picture of Boris Becker appears behind me, Victoria, and I turn around. We're about the same sort of age, and I look at him and I think, my God, he looks absolutely amazing. Until I realised that the date stamp on the bottom right was taken in 1988. Boris Becker doesn't look like that. Looks more like Boris Johnson, right? So anyway, he is out there, and I sell him for £40,000. And then the third item, the last one, was Sir Alex Ferguson. And I said, right, lot number 3, last item. And then the organizer stopped, ran onto the stage, and he said, do not engage with Sir Alex Ferguson. He was sat in front of me, about 10 feet away and 5 feet below. He's a very private man. Do not get him.
God, David.
Do not take his jacket off. Do not look in his direction. I went, okay, I won't. And of course, what does your brain start doing then, Victoria? I'm focusing in on Sir Alex Ferguson. The record prior to this night was £100,000 for Sir Alex. Nobody thought it could ever be done. He would never make over 100,000. But I got to 100, and then it took off. And I was running all around the room, just dripping, having a great time. Got back on the stage.
Oh, I bet you loved that.
Loved it. I sold him for 170,000, and as a result, I was the happiest person in the room. Alex Ferguson is 5 feet below and 5 feet away. I leapt off the stage mid-air. I started regretting the move. I landed right in front of Sir Alex Ferguson, and I can't begin to tell you like this. He thought I was a mad murderer. I think I just ran in front of him, and I thought, oh my God. And I shook his hand, and then I ran away to meet the guy.
Because he looks quite scary to me, David, I think.
Well, he was
as a character.
Well, if you jump off a stage and land in front of him, he's scary. And all his men around him were like, what the hell? Was I going to attack it?
Yeah.
Or what? Those. Yeah. And then I went,
that mad David Harper.
don't book him again. So it's amazing experience. I'll never forget.
So you obviously raised a lot of money that night.
I think.
What was the charity? Do you remember?
Was do you know what? You know, this is a horrible thing to admit. This is live.
Remember.
I can't even remember. I've done so many.
You've done so many.
Can't remember what it was, but it was a good.
Booked out so much, darling. Oh God, David, it's so funny. And I mean, at the moment, because I see where I watch on your Instagram, you're filming. What are you filming for at the moment? Are you doing Antiques Road Trip? Have you got any? Are you allowed to say?
Yeah. No, I'm filming Antiques Road Trip. So we started that last week. So I've got a series of that, and then I'm waiting for dates for the celebrity versions, which I absolutely love. So I don't know who the celebrities are going to be. I often won't know until I get there. I don't care who they are. It's always interesting, and you always learn. You learn from people. Yeah. And I get as much from them as they ever get from me in antique knowledge. So it's always an adventure. So I'm looking forward to that. And then my YouTube, lots of things on YouTube.
Sorry to stop your flow. One big question I think everyone will be really interested in. And again, how do I put this? I was going to say, who's your favourite celebrity that you've ever met on Antiques Road Trip? Or who's the most memorable? I mean, you've mentioned John Barrymore, but...
Yeah. I mean, so many. Giles Brandreth comes to mind. I mean, honestly, Nitin, the actor that plays the postman in EastEnders, we worked together last year. He's just wonderful. Him and I, he's a painter. We just immediately gelled. Oh gosh, Victoria. I mean, I've met a number, socially afterwards. I'm going to Giles's show when he comes to Barncastle. I don't think I could. I think Giles, is right up there. He's a fascinating man. I think what was memorable with Giles is I was really scared to meet him because I thought this guy is so clever, and he is. He's a polymath. He knows something. He knows a lot about everything. Yeah. But what I found with Giles and all of the celebrities I've worked with is they are very giving, and I think that's why they've become so successful. So when I was filming with Giles as an example, there are lots of things he knew that I was talking about. He knew the history, the context, what it was, and what it was. He just knew because he knows everything. But he just allowed me to go. And he would often tee me up. He would talk about something. I could feel it coming. I knew what he was doing. He was handing me a line on a silver platter, effectively. So very giving and not scary in any way. People like Giles and all of the other celebs, they can meet and talk to anybody at all levels in society. And it's something that I've noticed over very many years, that whoever they are, whatever they do, most have never met one another. They could come from different countries, they could be different colors, come from different cultures and different religions, but they all could be members of the same tribe because they have the same attitude to life, which is great positivity and always driving forward, never living on past successes, never like, I used to be somebody. And it didn't matter what they'd done in the past, they were always working on a new project, and the project could literally be working for the local village hall committee. It didn't matter. It didn't have to be a big highfalutin thing. They were always working on something and always moving forward. It's really interesting for me to kind of analyze them as we're filming and working. But yes, loads of commonality between these celebrities, and they're just very easy. But at the end of the day, Victoria, they're just people. They're just normal people.
All of us. That's what I always think. Because sometimes, some of my friends that are following, are sort of watching on the live now, and they turn around and they say to me, "Oh, how do you do lives and put your face on camera and talk?" And I'm like, "Well, I feel like now I'm just chatting to you, like we're having a chat. I mean, I'm waving to people because I want them to know that we're happy that they're joining us. But we all come into the world the same way, and we go out the same."
So true.
Nobody's any better than the next person, are they?
No. And that experience you had with the celebrity that you haven't yet named, which I could probably tease out of you if I tried, is very unusual.
He was an Olympic gold medalist, triathlon Olympic gold medalist.
Right. Okay.
That probably tells you straight away.
No,
but he was nice. I don't think he's ever done any antiques things. I can't imagine he probably would, but I think he did feel sorry, and he did give me a really lovely hug. But oh God, I can't tell you how silly I felt, because I was polite. I wasn't pushy. So it has made me feel a little bit. I've seen other people since, and I thought, God, I won't approach anybody. Well, I sent you a DM and you've replied to me, but I just think sometimes we all have to remember who we are, and just be respectful about that, So, but yeah, so thank you so much, Doug. I could talk to you for hours. You're really lovely.
It's a great pleasure. It really is. It's lovely chatting to you.
Oh well, I'd love to come and see one of your shows, but you're not going to do any in the south of the on the south coast, are you? You're not coming down this way.
Not at the moment. I think if ever I sort of clear the decks with other things, I think I would.
Sounds like you're super busy.
Full tour. It'd be lovely to do a full tour and just do that for a year, maybe. That would be great. But at the moment, all over.
I think we've got an opening for you, because my shop is based in Battle. Obviously, about history. We've got the Battle Abbey here. and this is, you know, where the Battle of Hastings was in 1066. So I feel like it'd be really good for you to come and do a stand-up at the Abbey.
Yes. You could write a new book, call it 1066, about the Norman conquest. There you go. Funny story about the Normans.
Oh my God, David, we've got your new book.
I'm going to make.
Well, that would be fantastic. But do you when you do filming though, you do often go, because I mean obviously you go around the country and you're at antique centres, but you often do like Newark antique fairs and Ardingly, things like that, don't you?
Yeah, and I do that for my YouTube channel. So I work for auctions and antique sets for Peterborough Antiques Fair coming up in April, which is the very last one. So it's IACF, isn't it, the organisers? So I'm working for them. So Peterborough, making lots of kind of interview videos with dealers, meeting buyers, all for my YouTube channel. So as well as filming for the BBC, I do a lot of antique centre and fair filming for YouTube. It's great marketing for them, and it's great fun for me. So it's a win-win. So
there you go, everyone. If you're watching this, you can subscribe to David's YouTube channel.
Please do. I need all the help I can get, Victoria.
And well, I'm going to subscribe. You can subscribe to mine, because I'm going to put our video up on our YouTube channel. So you know, like you've said, I think you've helped me, I've helped you, and hopefully everybody's enjoyed our little chit chat this afternoon. I can see we've already gone on, I think, now for over half an hour, because I'm getting notifications coming on my phone. I've had to switch the do not disturb, because I had someone ring me once on a live, David, and I kept turning them off, and they kept ringing me back again. So that would be, I was like, oh, don't do that. It's totally embarrassing. But anyway, thank you so much, and I really would love to meet you one day, because I just feel like we've got so much in common. Can I ask you, what star sign are you, David?
Cancerian.
I'm Cancerian.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
I knew it.
They're the best sort.
I knew you were. I knew it. I knew you were. All my best friends are Cancerian.
Isn't that strange? It must be also the colours as well. You like colour, I like colour. It must be a Cancerian thing.
And one last question: are you left or right-handed?
Right-handed.
Ah. Do you know? And another weird thing. I mean, I'm left-handed, but nearly every guest I've had on has been left-handed. I think you maybe one person.
Isn't that odd?
Because normally people that are, you know, quite arty, and I know, and it's always shocked me. I always think, oh, a lefty, but because I think often people that are sort of into drama and art and the creatives are often, you find, left-handed. But there you go, you're an anomaly.
I like to break the mold. But
anyway, David, I'm going to let you. What have you got now? You got the afternoon off? No. Or have you got something else planned?
Editing to do for YouTube, so I've got a load of that to do, and then I'm editing tomorrow, and then an after dinner in Cheshire on Sunday. So it's all go.
Oh well, listen, David, I feel a real I bonded with you. So thank you so much for chatting to me, and I'm sure, I know our paths are going to cross again now. And I'll keep in touch with you via Instagram. But you have a lovely afternoon, and
well,
I'm gonna let you go now, David.
Okay, and I'll say thank you to all your viewers. Thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with us. And Victoria, it's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, you're a real gentleman, David. You really are. And speak soon. Have a great weekend, and good luck with your dinner chat.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh my God, he was so lovely. I cannot believe it. Just such a nice guy. And he was Cancerian. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm not sure how many of you have joined, but I'm going to save this chat and we will post it on the Friarhouse feed today on my wall. But anyway, everyone have a lovely time. And I will speak to you all soon. Bye for now.